In the darkness of the rainforest, the most powerful weapon is not fangs and claws, but the ability to disappear right before the enemy's eyes. In the harsh survival game of nature, is hiding just to avoid death, or is it also to prepare for a sudden killing blow? Rainforest, the battle for survival of the masters of disguise. The tropical rainforest, the green lung of the planet, is an endless maze of life. The sunlight is torn into dim streaks of light by the dense foliage, shining on the wet ground covered with rotting leaves. The chirping of insects, the chirping of birds, and the distant howling of gibbons create a harmony of the wilderness. In a place where every drop of rain nourishes life, all creatures must fight to survive. Hiding, waiting, and camouflaging become the art of survival, where death and life are only a breath apart. But under the damp, rotting leaves, where there seemed to be only rotten silence, there was a killer hidden. It did not need to move, did not show off its strength, just lay motionless like a part of the forest. Until the moment came, death exploded from the darkness. This was the territory of the Gaboon snake, the master of camouflage, the owner of the fastest and most deadly attack in the African rainforest. On the ground covered with dry leaves, its body blended perfectly, the pattern like decaying leaves, making all eyes ignore it. For hours, even days, it waited patiently, without a single unnecessary movement. Cold eyes followed every movement, the whole body pressed against the ground, tense like a spring ready to spring up. A small forest mouse groped for food, accidentally approaching. The sound of insects whined, but in that moment, the forest held its breath. Suddenly, Gaboon launched a lightning-fast bite. The mouse only had time to weakly swing its tail before collapsing. The killer returned to a motionless state, melting into the forest floor as if it had never existed. The moment of death passed, the forest fell silent again. But behind that perfect camouflage, it was one of the most mysterious creatures in Africa. The head of this species has a strange structure. Its head is large and triangular, heavy but extremely precise in every attack. With a pair of record-breaking fangs, up to nearly 5 centimeters, Gaboon can inject twice as much venom as most other snakes. Unlike the agility of the cobra or the recklessness of the viper, Gaboon chooses the path of patience. It can ambush all day, just to launch a single but sure blow. And when the moment comes, no prey can escape. From small rodents, birds, to even young antelopes, all become a feast for the silent killer of the rainforest. More than just a killer, the Gaboon is a living example of adaptation. During the breeding season, females often give birth to more than 30 young in a litter, helping this species maintain its position despite the harsh life. Despite being a dangerous killer, the Gaboon still has formidable enemies. Large birds of prey such as the snake eagle and the mongoose are the main threats. However, thanks to its excellent camouflage and its low mobility, the Gaboon snake often escapes the eyes of its enemies before being discovered. In the darkness of the old forest, the Gaboon is not just a predator. It is a symbol of absolute integration with nature, a creature that exists by disappearing into the world it dominates. However, the rainforest is not only dark and deadly silence. In another layer of life, high up where light penetrates through the gaps between the leaves to create magical streaks of light, another story unfolds. On the branches of trees, life goes on silently but brilliantly. This is the realm of the shape-shifting artists, where color becomes both armor and weapon. In the dense space of the island of Madagascar, a strange creature has turned the ability to change color into the secret of chameleon survival. On the slender branches of trees, a small creature hides in the endless green. With a body that can change color, it disappears even when it is present. Unlike noisy predators, it chooses to wait in silence. Every leaf vein, every streak of light becomes a perfect camouflage. The eyes rotate in the opposite direction, then stop. The target is locked. Time seems to freeze. The chameleon's tongue shoots out. prey disappears. No sound. Not a trace. And we can see, the chameleon's most powerful weapon is not its claws or muscle strength, but its tongue. Nearly twice as long as its body, the tongue can shoot out at a speed exceeding 2.5 times gravity, faster than the blink of an eye. The tip of the tongue is covered with a special sticky tissue, tightly wrapping around the prey in an instant. But behind that lightning-fast hunting performance is a miraculous body, designed to master the game of stealth. Chameleons have special skin layers containing thousands of light-sensitive pigment cells, allowing them to change color depending on their mood, environment, or even to communicate. The eyes rotate independently in two directions, opening up a 360-degree field of view, making it impossible for even the smallest movement to escape. And more interestingly, although famous for their ability to change color, chameleons do not always change color to hide. Sometimes it is the way they talk to their species. During the breeding season, the color displays become even more brilliant. The male changes color to conquer, the female responds to choose. After mating, the female chameleon often digs a nest in the ground and lays eggs. Each clutch can range from a few dozen to hundreds, depending on the species. Those little creatures continue the circle of survival, becoming the new shape-shifting artists of the jungle. Despite being shape-shifting artists, chameleons are still prey for eagles, snakes, and small animals. The ability to change color and remain motionless becomes a fragile but effective shield, helping them survive for generations. Keeping life in the shade of trees, chameleons are a testament to the sophistication of evolution, turning color into language, into weapons, and into a challenge to death. Color is the language of life. But not all creatures choose to show off brightly. In another region of the Central and South American rainforest, where moonlight filters through the foliage, there exists a creature that takes the opposite path. It does not use color to hide itself, but chooses transparency. Its body is as thin as a piece of glass, leaving its heart and internal organs exposed to the observer. In a place where life is usually hidden, it survives by becoming invisible. This is the world of the glass frog. The ability to be almost invisible is the perfect camouflage. When hidden on leaves, its translucent green body blends in with the color of the leaves and the light reflected from the water. To aerial predators like birds or bats, it almost disappears. Even prey is caught off guard by this camouflage. A small insect lands on a leaf. The glass frog is motionless. Then suddenly it snaps its tongue and grabs it. The prey disappears in an instant, and the forest returns to its familiar night rhythm. But the life of the glass frog is not just about surprise hunts. Hidden deep under that fragile, transparent appearance is a more important mission to maintain life for the next generation. And when darkness falls on the rainforest stream, another story begins about mates, mating, and leaves that become the cradle of life. Under the cover of darkness, on the leaves hanging over the water, the male calls, attracting mates. With a body only 3 to 7 centimeters long, its translucent skin almost invisible in the moonlight, it becomes a small troubadour in the sea of adaptation. The meeting is quick but ritualistic. The male jumps on the female's back, clutching her with his forelegs in the amplexus position, a typical frog mating behavior. They remain motionless for hours, sometimes all night, to ensure each batch of eggs is fertilized. The female lays her eggs on the underside of a leaf, just above the stream. The transparent membrane protects the embryo, revealing the life growing day by day. When ready, the tadpoles drop into the water below, beginning their own journey of survival. In fragility, there is a wise strategy of nature. By choosing leaves from the stream as a cradle, the glass frog has turned the entire rainforest into a cradle of life, nurturing the next generation. A living testament to the creativity of evolution, where transparency is not only camouflage but also the key to maintaining life. Amid the green foliage of the rainforest, life does not always appear as it seems. Not every leaf in the forest is harmless. Some leaves know how to wait. This is the mantis, a master of camouflage, perfectly blending into the plant world. With its front legs like blades, it turns silence into a weapon. Its hunting instinct is absolute patience. It can stand still for hours, waiting for an insect to accidentally land within reach. The target has fallen into the circle of death. Time seems to stop. No sound. No warning. The front legs pop out like blades. With just one strike, the fate of the prey is decided. The mantis begins its feast right on the cruel tree branch, but it is also the eternal law of the old forest. With a slender body from 5 to more than 10 centimeters long, the mantis possesses excellent eyesight, compound eyes capable of stereoscopic observation, helping to accurately estimate distances. The front legs are equipped with rows of sharp spines, turning into death's pincers. The sunset shines through the tree canopy. On a branch, a large female mantis, her body shimmering with jade green. Nearby, a much smaller male moves slowly, hesitantly. In the world of mantis, mating is not only an act of prolonging life, but also a gamble of life and death. The male is faced with a cruel choice of leaving behind the next generation, or becoming a meal for his mate. The male mantis climbs onto the female's back, starting the fertilization process. But at that moment danger lurks, and the female turns around and bites off the male's head. This is not an unwarranted cruelty. Eating her mate provides a rich source of nutrients, giving the female enough energy to nurture her eggs, a harsh but effective survival strategy. After mating, the female lays a special egg sac called an ootheca. Inside, dozens, even hundreds of embryos are protected in a spongy membrane. A few weeks later, the tiny baby mantises emerge, almost miniature copies of their parents, and immediately spread out across the branches to begin a new life cycle. The death of one opens the door to hundreds of others. In the rainforest, even love takes on the appearance of a battle for survival. Silence becomes a trap, fragility becomes a fatal blow. With the art of stealth, it shows that patience can be just as dangerous as any claw. And in the wild, it is not only strength or speed that determines life. For many species, the art of camouflage and stealth is the key to survival. By disappearing from sight, they turn fragility into strength, writing magical survival stories in the middle of the jungle. Which species do you feel has the most special camouflage survival method? Leave a comment below the video. Hit the bell, subscribe to the channel to discover more fascinating survival videos of wild animals around the planet. It does not hunt. It does not roar, but every time it appears, the predator must retreat. The swamp ghost, who devours everything in absolute silence. When the water begins to move, life is counted in seconds. Amazon the fierce. The swamp ghosts fight for survival. Amazon, where life breathes in mist and darkness. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and rotting leaves, torn apart by the chirping chorus of millions of insects. Between the still waters and the dense canopy, each creature exists in a symphony of instinct and survival. Every movement, no matter how small, can be the beginning of life or the end of a predator. Nowhere else on Earth is so stifling and so sacred. The Amazon is not just a forest, but an ancient heartbeat, still beating silently to keep the planet alive. And deep in that damp carpet, a shadow is moving. Not a beast, not a bird of prey, but a legless legend. The anaconda. Hidden among the thick mud and tangled roots, it appears like a vein in the swamp itself. With a body that can be up to 8 meters long and weigh more than 200 kilograms, it is one of the largest snakes on the planet. Its dark green skin with black spots makes it almost invisible in the murky water. This giant creature spends most of its life in the water, slow but always ready to explode. Its forked tongue constantly moves in and out, tasting every molecule in the water, reading the taste of every creature that comes near. The other also likes to be quiet, never missing an opportunity. In a world where both are the apex predators, sometimes a passing shadow is enough to change the position of the one above and the one below. And then the water suddenly moves. From the still mud, a full-grown caiman suddenly emerges. But the anaconda sensed danger. It turned its head silently, parting the water. A missed bite in the stifling silence. In the dense, waterlogged world of the Amazon, not every attack ends in victory. A missed bite is not just a mistake, but a reminder that even predators must be wary. The anaconda does not rush into danger. It retreats quietly. Survival is sometimes about waiting for the perfect moment. As the rains begin to pour down on the jungle, the rising waters signal a new reproductive cycle. In the quiet swamp, the female sends out a biological signal, and soon many males follow her trail. There is no roar, no violent collision. Just bodies entwined in the murky water. A dance of survival that lasts for days, as if time itself slows with each squeeze. After that, there is no nest. No care. The female python leaves her eggs in the rotten wood and leaves. A few weeks later, the little creatures begin to break out of their shells. They are born in the dark. No one to show them the way. No calls. They do not cry, nor do they wait. They are children of the forest. Alone in the dark world from their first breath. They are not taught how to survive. They are born to survive. And when they grow up, the Amazon food chain calls out to a familiar species, capybara, the world's largest rodent. a gentle inhabitant of the reed beds along the river. With small ears, gentle eyes, and a body as heavy as a small boat covered in brown fur. They are not born to fight. But it is this calmness that is their way of survival. They live in large groups, often up to a few dozen individuals, relying on their numbers to warn each other of any strange movements among the reeds. They graze, soak in the water for hours, creating rare moments of peace in the midst of the fierce forest. But in the Amazon, even peace cannot last. A sultry afternoon. A herd of giant rodents slowly leaves the dense grass by the lake, heading towards the water. They do not know that, under the still water, a thick, heavy body is squirming like a green shadow. The python is not in a hurry. It crawls along the muddy bottom, each roll of muscle moving smoothly like an invisible stream. Its branch tongue vibrates slightly, capturing every molecule of scent in the air. The cold eyes rose just enough to observe, but did not disturb the water. Each time it moved, nature held its breath. No sound, no ripple. Only a deadly certainty gripping the space. It had chosen its target and waited for the perfect moment. The space seemed to stop. A sudden lunge. The water splashed. A capybara cried out. Silence. The capybara was swallowed into that slender body. A life was erased in silence. When the water settled, the capybaras had left. And the anaconda sank back into the familiar darkness, waiting for the next hunt. But the Amazon has never had just one predator. While hunger still lurked in the murky waters, another creature was looking for its own opportunity. On a narrow river branch that flows into the swamp, a young crocodile that left its nest a few months ago quietly cuts through the water. At just over a meter long, it is a miniature version of the legendary killers of the Amazon River. But its instincts are not small, and its hunger does not wait until adulthood. Cayman crocodile. The reptile masters of patience and violence. They are living fossils, witnesses to millions of years of uncompromising evolution. With a body armor as thick as ancient stone, a muscular tail used to skim and attack, and horizontal eyes that can observe without rising above the water, crocodiles are the embodiment of the strategy of waiting. This predator can remain motionless for hours under the mud, surviving in harsh conditions. With a jaw that can bite up to 3,000 pi, enough to crush the hardest bone in the Amazon. On the water shimmering in the afternoon light, the anaconda snake glides silently, its body slithering like a dark silk strip. Behind, a small figure was watching. A baby crocodile. Its young eyes followed the movement, half fascinated, half cautious. It did not know whether it was predator or prey. The air seemed to thicken, only the pounding heartbeat and the lurking silence. Instinct urged it, but experience was still young. Then suddenly, the baby crocodile rushed forward. But that was the last mistake. The anaconda twisted. In the murky water, the small life gradually sank. A silence returned. The water was peaceful again. But below, a victor was tightening another link in the Amazon's chain of survival. In the Amazon, a fledgling, even one with the blood of a beast, could become a meal for a silent ghost. But in the cruel chain of the Amazon, no creature was truly safe. As the crocodile's shadow silently sank, another dark figure began to move from the edge of the forest. Jaguar. The most formidable and solitary predator in South America. Unlike its African relatives, the South American jaguar has more muscularity and stronger jaws than any other big cat. Its back is dotted with rosettes, blending into the shimmering light between the trees. The black spots are not just patterns, but deadly camouflage. Its golden fur is dotted with jet black rosettes, providing perfect camouflage in the shade and sunlight of the sparse forest. An adult can grow up to 2 meters long, weigh more than 100 kilograms, with terrifyingly powerful jaws with the strongest bite force in the cat family, enough to pierce the skull of a wild boar or puncture the armor of an Amazonian tortoise. Being a solitary animal, the jaguar does not hunt in groups nor share. However, during the mating season, which usually falls after the rainy season, it will seek out a mate through urine or scratch marks. And when the female jaguar is in season, she often chooses a secluded place to give birth to 2 or 3 cubs. The cubs will be nourished by fresh meat that the mother brings back from her quiet hunts, until they are old enough to leave and start their own hunting journey. Jaguars hunt in silence. They can swim across rivers, climb trees, hide in tall grass, and attack from any blind spot. They are a symbol of patience, strength, and adaptability. The jaguar is the only big cat predator that regularly hunts in water, making it a natural opponent for both crocodiles and anacondas. In the low marsh, where the ground was still soft from last night's rain, a jaguar was slowly advancing. It stopped. A few meters away. The anaconda was resting. Thick bands of muscle stretched across the damp mud, occasionally contracting and expanding like hidden waves under its dark green metallic skin. It seemed to have just finished a full meal. It moved slowly, but in nature that peaceful moment was a potential danger. Behind a low bush, not far away, a shadow moved silently. No footsteps, no rapid breathing, just bright yellow eyes silently observing every smallest movement. The air seemed to freeze. Suddenly, the jaguar shrank and charged. Because this was on land, the anaconda could not fight this jaguar. The bite ended the surprise hunt. The anaconda became prey for the one with the scary teeth. All was quiet. No sound, no breath, only the mud silently witnessed the fateful transition. On land, the giant python was a heavy, clumsy, slow mass. Once the dominant predator in the water, now helpless before the cold precision of another killer. In a matter of seconds, the balance of survival had been turned upside down. The Amazon does not choose the strongest. It chooses the fittest. In a land where life is tested every second, where light bends beneath the canopy and every breath may be the last, creatures like the anaconda have evolved to not only survive, but to dominate in silence. From the agile capybara, the stalking jaguar, to the silent but never weak python. Each creature here is a different answer to the same question: how to survive in a world where there is no room for error. The Amazon is nature's greatest lesson. An anaconda, the swamp ghost. A living testament to the power of perseverance, adaptation, and silence at the right time. Keep following the channel to explore the untold secrets of the wild world, where nature always has a way of making us hold our breath.